Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome. My name is Mandy, and today is a little bit of what I read last month, followed by what I plan on doing this month, a little bit of a July to August reset. I have to reset my whole life because July was kind of rough. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but my July was not great at all. Like, not great. Which is fine. It started out strong. We did Summerween, and Summerween was fantastic, but then after Summerween I kind of crashed. And I don't know if it's just a midsummer slump, or if I just got so excited over Summerween that I slumped after Summerween, because my body loves me. Kind of. I'm being super sarcastic right now if you can't catch my deadpan, because I've been told that my sarcasm doesn't read very well. However, I read very well in the month of July. The numbers are a little bit skewed higher because I did finish books that I didn't count, but according to my stats, I read 14 books, 5,266 pages, and I read a lot. So I'm just gonna go through the books. I'm not gonna explain them because they're explained in other videos, but I just kind of want to say, here's the title, here's the author, and then I'm gonna talk about my highlights and my flops, because I want to move on and reset for August, and I'm pretty excited about it. So the first book I read was Vanished in Vermilion by Lou Goose. I cannot pronounce his name. The Only One Left by Riley Sager was my next book. Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar. You Can Trust Me by Wendy Hurd. Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. Mayfly by CJ Lead. And then we have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. The Viscount Who Loved Me and Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. The second and the fourth of the Bridgerton novels by Julia Quinn. Tinfoil Butterfly by Rachel Eve Moulton. The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. The Trees by Percival Everett. And then my last book of the month was With a Kiss We Die by L.R. Dorn. The books are all over the place with ratings. I had, for the first like 4 books, I had 4 and 5 stars. And as the month has gone by, I've kind of like knocked down a couple stars. I in the moment gave You Can Trust Me by Wendy Hurd, I gave a 4-star. And I really, the more I think about it, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh yes, it almost is perfect. It was good. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. So I bumped it down to 3. The same with Chasing the Boogeyman with Richard Chizmar. I'd given it a 5-star, but now that I've read through the month and I've had a chance to get out of the Summerween hype, it would be more 4. I can't explain it why, but I just don't think it'd be a favorite. And so rating systems I'm thinking about, and I'm constantly thinking about how I'm gonna change my rating systems. And it's the same, like, I kind of have felt as I've read more books, I have kind of gotten a little bit more knowing of what I like. And obviously we all will say it, that ratings are completely relevant to the person and the person only. But I feel like it helps you to figure out your ratings, helps you to figure out who you want to recommend this book to or who it's for. And I have discovered that a lot of books are not for me. And I discovered that with the Bridgerton books. I love the show. The first season, even when I rewatch it, I love all the other characters, and I don't really care for Daphne and Simon. And I think it has issues with consent. And let's talk about Julia Quinn, and I could have a whole vlog on Julia Quinn because I almost threw The Viscount Who Loved Me across the room. I was enjoying the book up to the 50% mark. I was enjoying the book, I was enjoying the banter, and then all of a sudden things changed, did not sit well with me. And then I read the 4th one, which was Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I purposely skipped the 3rd one. I really love Penelope. I was more interested in how they were gonna deal with her secret, but I'm not gonna pick up any more Julia Quinn. I was really also disappointed in A Most Agreeable Murder. That one really bummed me out because the most interesting thing about it was the town's name and the places in it. It was really wanted to be quippy, it wanted to be funny, but it just didn't hit the mark for me, but I think it could for somebody else, just not me. But I did have some really, really heavy hitters that were so good, and I'm kind of mad when I think about it because I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the books. I'm more mad at myself that I read them all in 1 month, so I can't, in my bracket, I can't be like, you win, you win, you win, you win, and I can only have one from July. The real winner is The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. I cannot get over this book. I had never heard of a death doula before. I'd heard of regular like maternity doulas, and so to hear of a death doula was very interesting. Clover is a death doula, so she's offering whatever support these people on their last days of their lives need. So whatever that be, if they just need somebody who will sit with them, or if they need somebody who will offer them emotional support in some way or whatever. And so she is this, and it goes through her life. And I really think the big message is she is watching all of these people around her pass away. And in some cases, in really, really sad, depressing ways. And she's got to figure out what she's going to do to live in this world. It's really just her learning how to navigate and opening herself up to living while she's helping people die. It hit me in such an amazing way. It asks a lot of questions that are really hard. Mickey Brammer, I listened to her interview at the end of it, and she herself is a journalist, and this was her first novel, and oh my goodness, to read it, she wrote things in such a beautiful way, and she had that kind of like history, she had family history built with it, she had these pieces that came together just so beautifully and connected that I really enjoyed it. And so I had a lot of really good books through the month, but if I had to pick one, it would definitely be The Collected Regrets of Clover. I also really want to shout out Dead 11 because that one was so unique and so good. And it was slow burn horror. It also dealt with a lot of questions and a lot of topics that are hard to deal with, and loss, probably similar themes I'm trying to figure out. So my reset, I want to read some Booker Awards. So The Trees by Percival Everett, I will go further into that in my Booker Awards vlog. I have been kind of feeling like I need my brain to turn on in a different way. I've been really enjoying reading books that are just fun, that just have no consequence to life, that I really enjoy. But reading The Collected Regrets of Clover makes me kind of want to step and dip my toes into things that are more historical and hard to read and hard to understand and have really deep meanings, and that's where I'm at. So I was looking at the Booker Award because I didn't know this was a thing. I want a little bit of both because I remember having to sink my teeth in a book that was hard to read, and it grows your mind. And so that's what I mean. Like, all the books that I've read, even when I look back on my shelf, these books are all fun and I love them. And some of them make you think, but I want to read books that make me grow intellectually. If that makes sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any sense, but I want to read things that are out of my wheelhouse. I want to grow myself. I have been really, really frustrated with books lately. And yes, I'm still reading really good books, but I think one of the things is I read too many books in August. I was having a really low month and I was reading books like every other day. And so I decided that the only TBR I'm going to have is picking books from the Booker Award. And what I want to do is I want to read a Booker Award book and then read something light and fun that that like give yourself a break, which they're all great as long as we're reading. And I love reading. And that's my whole thing is I love reading, I love growing, I love learning. And once you're out of the academic setting, it's really hard to find different ways to grow yourself as a person. And for a long time, I found the growth for a person in cults, in personal development and gurus and things that sunk their claws into me and kind of changed me into a person that I didn't like who I was. And so these last 3 years have really been about rediscovering who I am. And it's something that's still kind of hard to talk about because I got pretty low in these situations. And someday maybe I'll talk about it on the channel, but today's not that day. However, discovering who I am and discovering my love for books is an ever-growing, ever-changing thing. But I went 7 years without reading a book that wasn't personal development, and I didn't read a book for fun. I didn't. And so I spent a lot of time reading books that didn't make me think at all, and it was a great time, because I needed that. And so now I'm kind of like, what do I need? What do I need? And I think it's really important to think about who you are as a person, how you're growing, and what you need. I went through a phase when I was younger where I only read romance, and then I would only read horror, and then I would only read manga. And so then I'm like, okay, what did I like about the collected regrets of Clover that I didn't like about these other books? And I think it was substance. I think it was a book that makes you think about life and that makes you think about the hard things. And that was the same thing with the trees. The trees really made me think. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I know that I really enjoyed them and they were far more literary than some of the things that I have read in the past. And we talked in my English courses that there is nothing wrong with books that are just for fun, but it was a way for us to communicate what the differences were in these books. We talked about literature with a capital L versus literature with a lowercase l. And I thought it was a great way to describe the different kinds of books. Books that are classics would be literature with a capital L because they stand the test of the time. They have a social commentary. They created something that was important, and they also had a lot to say about things around us. Now, I'm not saying that literature with a lowercase can't have those things, but the main purpose of what the person is trying to write is to write these things and these deeper meanings, or hold something in history at a level that's a little different than reading a romance, which they both have their purpose. But I've read so much literature with a lowercase l in the past couple years that I really want to pick up some uppercase L's, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it makes any sense to anybody. I don't know if I'm talking my head off. That's my plan with August. Anywho's, that's what I'm thinking. So I don't have an actual TBR this month. I'm just going to try different Booker Prize books. One goal though, my one goal with books is that I am not allowed to buy any books. If I can't find a book back here on my Kindle or through my library, I'm not buying it. I'm getting my book of the month, and that's the only one I'm getting. However, I'm excited for August. It is definitely reset time. July was not great. You know, July a lot of times for me isn't great. Is it great for anyone? I don't know. But did I make sense in this? Is anybody else understanding what I'm trying to say? Because I don't even know what I just said. But if you made it this far, comment to me what your August looks like for you, or drop me a green heart, because green is on the back of this camera and I was really excited about it. And I don't know, I've been feeling green in art and coloring and stuff. So that's that. But thank you so much for being in my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I can't believe there are actually people who are willing to come back and watch me multiple times. I really appreciate it. And I love responding to comments. I try to get to them as often as possible. Sometimes I forget because brain does not always function in the correct way. Yay. But that's what neurodivergent people are like, right? Right. Okay. Well, you have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for being here. Bye.